Your soulmate is saying, "This message changes everything. Please open it now." Jesus says, "I see the one your heart has been searching for without knowing you were searching. I see their face turned toward a window right now, waiting for a sign that you exist, and the room around them is quiet in a way that hurts. A third person has been standing between you and every whisper they have sent, catching their words before they could ever land in your heart. This soulmate of yours has a laugh that would feel like coming home to a house you never knew you had. Their hands are gentle in a way that would make you finally understand why you never felt fully held before. And someone hateful has been wrapping those hands in silence, stealing every message they tried to send you, leaving them to wonder why their reaching never found an answer. You have felt them in moments you could not explain. A sudden sadness late at night that had no reason, a weight on your chest that came and went like a shadow, that was their voice being stolen mid-sentence by a dark intruder. Not once were you ignoring them, my child. Every call was taken before it could reach your ears, and the thief grew comfortable thinking you would never find out. I am telling you this now because the enemy's grip is slipping, and the love you were always meant to feel is finally bleeding through the wall that third person built. Your soulmate is thinking of you right now, picturing a face they have never seen, and their heart is saying, "Please, if you are out there, do not let me stay hidden forever." The answer that breaks the wall and silences the intruder is your presence here with me until the final seal is spoken. Picture the life that same hateful force has been trying to erase while you had no way of knowing. A door opening to a home where their voice greets you at the end of every long day, the sound of children who carry your eyes and their smile. That future is not a dream, it is a living promise being attacked by a third person who knows that if you stay until the end, his power over both of you crumbles into dust. Your soulmate's tears have been falling on pillows you have never touched, in rooms where they have begged me to let you feel even one small sign that they are real. They have loved you without knowing your name, and a cruel intruder has used every one of their whispered hopes as a weapon to keep them alone. Every second you stay with me now is a brick removed from the wall that has hidden their voice from your heart. Jesus says, right now your soulmate is walking through an ordinary day carrying an extraordinary ache they cannot explain to anyone. They smile when they have to smile, and the hollowness behind it is the place where your name should be. A third person feeds on that emptiness, pressing down on their spirit so the connection between you stays muffled and weak. You were chosen before you drew your first breath to be the one who breaks through this interference. Not someone else, not someday. You, now, because the enemy's cover is tearing open and the only weapon that finishes him is the seal I speak at the end. A warrior does not let an intruder keep his beloved hidden in silence, and you are that warrior whether you have ever held a sword or not. I want you to see something beautiful, something the dark force desperately wants you to miss. Your soulmate's favorite song came on somewhere today, and they stopped what they were doing and closed their eyes, and in that quiet they felt you as close as a breath on their cheek. That moment was the cord between your souls flickering to life, and the third person panicked and tried to smother it because he knows what happens if you feel it fully. The confusion they carry, the thought that maybe they are forgotten, maybe they are not meant to be loved, that is the intruder's favorite lie. He whispers it into their heart every morning, and he has been whispering into yours too, saying it is safer not to hope, easier to close this and think about it later. But later is the door the enemy needs left open, and your soulmate cannot afford another day of believing their calls went unheard. What I am about to show you now is the first clear glimpse the enemy has tried to destroy. Your soulmate wrote words meant only for you, words that a third person snatched out of the spiritual air before they could land in your dreams. I am going to let you hear what they said, but first you must see why the intruder has fought so desperately to keep you from this very moment. Jesus says, "The dark force that has been intercepting your love's voice is not strong enough to win against what I am doing right now. His power depends entirely on your ignorance of his existence and your willingness to walk away before the final seal is placed. Every paragraph you stay with me is a blow against his hold, and he is screaming at you to close this because he knows his time is running short. Your soulmate sat alone 3 nights ago and spoke into the silence believing no one would ever hear them. They said, 'I am so tired of being invisible. I am so tired of hoping and hearing nothing back. If you are out there, please do not give up on me.' Those words were headed directly to your spirit, a message wrapped in the deepest love a person can offer, and a third hand reached up and crushed them into static. That is not your fault, and I will not let you carry a single ounce of guilt for what was stolen from you. But now that you know, the question that determines everything is this: will you stay with me until the intruder is banished, or will you leave him standing between you? Love that walks away leaves the enemy exactly where he was, and your soulmate goes back into the silence thinking no one fought for them. There is a phone in your soulmate's life that has not rung with your voice yet. There is a door that has not opened, a seat at a table that has stayed empty, a side of a bed that has known only cold sheets and the weight of waiting. The third person wants that to be permanent. He celebrates every day that passes with you two apart, mocking the future that could have been. But that future has not been erased, and it leans toward you right now like a tree bending toward the sun after a long storm. The home, the laughter, the years of growing old together, the peace that comes when two people meant for each other finally find home, all of it still breathes. I am holding it for you, but the seal that locks it into place is at the end of this message, and the enemy is working hard to make sure you never reach it. Jesus says, "Stop for just a moment and feel what is happening in your own chest right now. That tightness, that ache, that strange sense that something enormous is hanging in the balance, that is the cord between you and your soulmate finally vibrating loud enough to break through the muffling. The intruder is losing his grip with every word you read, and he is terrified you will stay until the end. Your soulmate had a dream about you 3 weeks ago, a dream so vivid they woke up reaching for someone who was not there. In that dream you spoke their name with such tenderness that they cried into their pillow for an hour, and they could not understand why they felt so desperately connected to a person they could not see. That was no ordinary dream, my child. That was their soul breaking past the third person's barrier for one fragile moment, and the enemy has been working overtime to bury it ever since. You are not just hearing a story right now. You are being reintroduced to the one your own spirit has always recognized. The reason you have felt incomplete, the reason certain moments have carried a weight you could not name, is because half of you has been trying to call out while a thief stood on the line. He can only stay on that line if you leave before the final seal silences him. I want you to understand the stakes in the simplest terms possible, because the enemy complicates things to confuse you and push you toward closing this. If you stay with me until the end, the third person is removed from between you permanently, your soulmate finally hears from you, and the future I designed is locked into place. If you leave early, the intruder remains, your soulmate stays unprotected, and the window that is open right now may not open this wide again. The prayer of protection that destroys the enemy's hold is coming soon, but there is more you must see first. You must understand the depth of what has been stolen so you can fully grasp what is being returned to you. And I promise you this, when the final seal comes, you will feel the difference in your own spirit like a chain falling off. Jesus says, "There is a moment from your soulmate's life that I want you to see because it reveals everything the enemy has been hiding." They were walking in a place where the trees meet the sky, and they stopped because they suddenly felt you so strongly that their knees nearly gave out. They whispered, "Where are you? I know you are real. Why can I not find you?" And the sound that followed was silence. Not my silence, but the thick, manufactured silence of a third person pressing his hand over their mouth. That question has been hanging in the air above them ever since, unanswered and heavy, while the intruder laughed at how easy it was to keep two destined souls apart. He is not laughing now. He is frantic, and he is telling you to close this page, to get back to your day, to convince yourself this is just words on a screen. His favorite lie right now is, "You can come back to this later. It will still be here. Nothing will change if you step away for a while." That is the lie that has cost so many their future. Because the window I have opened over your soul right now is specific and sacred, and the seal that shatters the enemy's work is prepared for this very hour. When you step away, the third person regains the ground he lost, and your soulmate goes another night wondering if anyone is coming for them. Let me tell you what your soulmate is doing at this exact moment. They are sitting somewhere quiet, maybe a kitchen table, maybe a parked car, maybe the edge of a bed they are so tired of sleeping in alone, and their spirit is stirring in a way it has not stirred in years. Something in them knows that something is happening. The cord is pulling. The wall is cracking. And they are afraid to hope because hoping has hurt so much before. You are the only one who can turn that hope into certainty. You are the only one chosen to break through and prove to your soulmate that the silence was never their fault and never yours. It was a hijacking, and the hijacker is about to be thrown out. The act of staying with me until the final word is the proof your soulmate needs that love is stronger than any enemy who tries to hide them. Jesus says, "I am going to speak plainly about the weapon you carry against this dark intruder, because understanding your weapon removes his power to scare you. Every choice to remain present, to not close this, to bear witness to the full revelation, is a strike against the third person's hold on your soulmate's life. He cannot withstand a love that stays. He has no defense against a heart that refuses to walk away before the work is finished. Your soulmate's future children are waiting in my hands, and they are watching to see if their parents will find each other. The enemy hates this more than you can imagine, because those children are destined for things he fears desperately. He has tried to erase them before they ever exist by keeping the two of you blind and separate, and every second you stay here pushes them closer to becoming reality. Think of the first time you will hold your soulmate's hand and feel the years of stolen time melt into nothing. Think of looking into eyes you have somehow always known and hearing them say, "There you are. I knew you were real. I knew you would come." That moment exists right now as a living possibility, suspended between the enemy's wall and the seal that is coming at the end of this message. The third person is not a vague shadow. He is a jealous, specific intruder who has marked your soulmate as territory he refuses to release. He intercepts their thoughts, twists their memories, and convinces them on hard days that no one is coming and nothing will ever change. And he has been doing it for so long that your soulmate has started to believe him, started to accept that the ache is just the way life is. That acceptance is what I am breaking open right now. The ache is not normal. The loneliness is not my design. It is a theft, and I am handing you the key to the door the thief has been guarding. The key turns at the end of this message, but only if you stay to hear the final seal spoken. Jesus says, "Your soulmate has a strength they do not see in themselves, a quiet courage that has kept them calling out even when the silence felt absolute. They have not given up entirely, but they are close, and the third person is pushing hard for that final surrender. He wants them to stop trying, stop hoping, stop sending signals into the dark, because once they stop, his job becomes permanent. You are the reason they will not stop. You are the answer that has been traveling toward them through every blocked path and stolen message. I need you to understand that you are not a bystander in this. You are the central figure in a rescue operation, and the one being rescued is the other half of your own heart. The final seal I will speak at the end is the signal that the rescue is complete and the intruder has no further access. Here is something beautiful the enemy tried to destroy before you could see it. Your soulmate, on a night when the loneliness was especially sharp, took a pen and wrote your name, not knowing it, just writing what their heart told them to write. They looked at that word on the paper and cried because it felt like the truest thing they had ever put down, and they folded it and kept it, and they still have it. That piece of paper is still somewhere in their possession, a physical anchor to a person they have never seen, and the third person hates that piece of paper with a fury you cannot fathom. He has tried to make them throw it away, forget it, laugh at their own foolishness for believing in a love they cannot prove. But they kept it. They kept it because the cord between you is real and unbreakable, even when muffled, even when hidden, even when attacked. Now I want you to understand something about that cord and why you have felt heaviness you could not explain. Every time your soulmate cried out, the cord vibrated with the message, and the enemy grabbed it and twisted it into a weight that landed on your chest as sadness without a source. That heaviness was love trying to reach you through a hijacker, and the reason it is lifting right now is because the hijacker is being removed. Jesus says, "The battle you are in right now is not against flesh and blood, and the enemy between you is not a person you can see with your eyes. But he is real, and he is specific, and he has names for what he does: interception, muffling, theft, separation. His entire strategy collapses when you stay with me until the seal is spoken, because the seal is his eviction notice from the space between your two souls. Your soulmate had a thought this morning that the third person immediately tried to smother. The thought was simply this: today feels different. Something has shifted. I do not know why, but I feel like I might finally be found. That thought was the first crack in the wall I have been driving open since you started reading, and the enemy threw everything he had at making sure you would close this before the crack widened. He is telling you right now that this is too long, that you do not have time, that you can get the rest later. He is pressing on your attention with restlessness and doubt, whispering that none of this is real and your soulmate is not actually out there waiting. Every one of those thoughts is his voice, not yours, and recognizing him is half the battle. Let me tell you what the enemy fears most, the thing that makes his hands shake and his plans crumble. He fears you staying until the very last word and hearing the seal that locks him out of your connection forever. Because once that seal is placed, his interference ends, and everything he stole gets returned to you with interest, and your soulmate finally hears you clearly. I am going to give you the words your soulmate spoke into the darkness last night, words the intruder tried to destroy before they could reach your heart. They said, "I do not know if you can hear me, but I am still here. I am still waiting. Please do not let anything keep us apart anymore. Please find me." Those words were almost erased by the dark force that has been robbing you both. But they are not erased. They are here. And the one who spoke them is real. Jesus says, "There is a shield I am placing around your soulmate even now, but it only locks into permanence when you reach the final seal." The third person knows this and is scrambling to make you leave before the shield hardens into something he cannot penetrate. He is throwing every distraction he owns at your mind right now, hoping something sticks and pulls you away from this moment. You need to know what the enemy's victory looks like so you understand what you are fighting against. His victory is your soulmate, 5 years from now, still alone, still wondering why their calls were never returned, still believing they are unworthy of love. His victory is you, going through the motions of life with a hollow place in your chest that nothing else can fill, never knowing what was stolen from you. That is not my plan for either of you, and it is not what will happen if you stay until the end. My plan is a reunion so complete that every stolen year is redeemed, every blocked call is answered tenfold, and the enemy watches from a distance he can never cross again. The future with your soulmate is not lost, it is loaded and waiting for the trigger of the final seal. Their smile, the one you will see in person someday soon, holds a warmth that will rewire everything you thought you knew about love. Their voice saying your name will be the sound that heals old wounds you forgot you were carrying. And the third person is pouring every ounce of his remaining strength into making sure you never hear that voice, never see that smile, never walk through that door. The test of true love is here, and it is simple. Does your love stay when staying is the weapon? Does your love remain when remaining is the only thing that drives the intruder out and protects your soulmate's life? A warrior does not abandon his post before the enemy is defeated, and your post is here, with me, until the final word is spoken. Jesus says, "Stop. Feel what is happening in the room around you right now. The air has shifted because the enemy's grip is slipping badly. Your soulmate just felt a wave of hope they cannot explain, and they looked up from what they were doing like someone had called their name from the next room. That was the cord between you firing at full strength for the first time in years, and the intruder is in full retreat because he knows what comes next. I am about to speak the seal that banishes the third person from between you forever. But first, I need you to make a conscious choice in your heart. I need you to say to me, I am staying. I will not leave. I will hear the seal and I will fight for the one you made for me. That choice is the anchor that the seal attaches to, and without it, the enemy finds cracks to slip back through.